Excellent. Good morning everyone once again, and welcome to Grey Matter and Barracuda webinar around security for Office 365. Just to make everyone aware, we've got a chat feature, so if anyone's having problems with the audio, or furthermore if you have any questions at all, feel free to type a message and we'll do our best to respond to either fix issues or answer as many questions as we can. We probably might try to answer the majority of them towards the end of the webinar, but just to make you all aware of that. So my name is Chris Wheeler. I'm the cloud specialist at Grey Matter and team leader of the cloud team. I've been at Grey Matter now for roughly about 4 years. I've been looking after 365 for about just over 3 years now. And we've had a load of interest around Office 365 in that time. So most of you that are attending at the moment, from what I understand, are on Office 365 already, or you're possibly beginning to look at Office 365. So what we're looking at the moment is we get asked a load of questions such as, we're now on Office 365, what are the next steps from there? How do we, are we limited by what we can do now? Are there any extra features that we can now include? And the answer is yes. So what we're looking at now is a load of third parties are now offering, their own applications or their own services wrapped around Office 365. So as a Barracuda partner around security, we highly recommend the Barracuda to attach onto Office 365 to allow extra services such as backup, archiving, encryption, and to fully secure your Office 365 business against ransomware, for example. So we're going to do the presentation around Barracuda. We've also got Ben Blinko, who's a technology specialist at Barracuda, to really talk you through the product and how it can benefit your business and really secure your intellectual property moving forwards. So a little bit more about Grey Matter, just very briefly. We've been in business since 1983, so we're coming up to roughly about 34 years next year. Like I said before, we've been offering cloud solutions for the last 3 or so years, but now we're looking at expanding that and really offering different services that really complement the Office 365 and the Microsoft Azure experience as well. So I like to say there's 3 key areas of success. First one is analytics. So, really visualizing your data, wherever that one is. So there's extra cloud services around that. The second one is voice. So having cloud telephony, which is a really great add-on. But last but certainly not least, and I think it's the most important one, is the security. How to really protect your data, even if it's in the cloud, for example. So we work very closely with Barracuda. We're also a Microsoft Gold partner as well, as most of you are aware. And like I said before, we really do recommend the Barracuda add-on for those extra services. So what I'll do now is I'll pass you over to Ben to explain further. As I said before, we will be just monitoring the chat, so I'll be doing that for Ben, and hopefully we'll round off as many questions as we can. So Ben, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chris. So good morning, my name is Ben Blinko. I'm a technical specialist for Barracuda Networks. I'm going to start off this morning with a little introduction to Barracuda. You may not have come across us before. So our vision is that Barracuda simplifies IT with cloud-enabled solutions that empower customers to protect their networks, applications, and data regardless of where they reside. We offer some really great products, and we pride ourselves on 3 main aspects of our business. There's unparalleled protection, with 1.5 billion emails filtered daily, more than 57 billion web requests, and greater than 2.5 petabytes of restorable data in 3.5 billion files. We have world-class support, and 9 out of 10 of our existing customers would recommend Barracuda simply on the basis of that support, and a very fast return on investment with competitive, simple pricing structures. Just a little introduction to the environment of the situation we're talking about here with regard to O365. Cloud email is massively growing. People are moving off premises with their Exchange servers more and more into the cloud, getting rid of some of that old legacy hardware, getting a situation very robust disaster-proof systems. Hybrid deployments are definitely the norm. You've got on-premise exchanges certainly and other parts of it in the cloud. So they're very, very important to work within those. We're increasingly being subjected to more and more different types of attacks. This is just some examples. There's a huge number of different types of phishing attacks coming through a vast number of different methods. Very specific spear phishing and CEO type fraud targeting those top decision makers in your companies. Advanced persistent threats that will linger on your network, potentially for months undetected, taking over and controlling aspects of your infrastructure and using that against you. Ransomware in there, encrypting your data and then demanding payments for it. Denial of service attacks, or distributed denial of service attacks, simply attempting to extort or damage your infrastructure in order to conceal other activities. Social engineering, people contacting your people and phoning up and emailing them and asking for information. That can be a style of phishing, or it can be just literally in person. There's no single solution to these. A layered defense is absolutely critical. And in this presentation, we're going to look at some of the ways that they're attacked. So these attacks will generally come over multiple vectors at the same time. You're not looking to protect against one thing. A proper attack is going to perform reconnaissance against your network. They're going to gain some access to credentials. This could be social engineering. This could be through a phishing style attack. They're going to use those credentials to backdoor into your systems. Once they're in there, they're going to install an advanced persistent threat of some kind and maintaining their control over your networks. They're possibly going to deploy ransomware, maybe even time delay that. They're then going to make the efforts to do the damage to face or steal your data. Once they've got that information, they may use that information to then launch spear phishing attacks. While they're distracting you by having to recover some data that's been damaged, they're going to be targeting your CEO, asking for additional information, asking for payments, and they may then come around and demand ransoms. So it really is a very advanced setup for these people to have when they're attacking your networks. Focusing on ransomware, that's really what we're looking at in this presentation. There's a lot of variants. You'll hear it called things like CryptoLocker, Locky, TeslaCrypt. There are new variants coming out all the time. There were 1.2 million ransomware attacks in Q1 of 2016, which is up 24%. Attackers find this very, very lucrative. They purchase these ransomware kits from black market organizations online, and they're looking at getting 1,425% return on their investment. So it really is a lucrative business for criminals to be in. They're making a lot of money out of people. Of the organizations that we have surveyed, 51% have had 1 to 5 attacks, and then 13% 6 to 10, 11% have had 10 or more ransomware attacks. So this really is a very, very common problem. A lot of businesses are saying they just pay the ransom, and this is quite common. I think we're missing out on some of these people not reporting them because it looks bad for business. We've had to pay a ransom. The problem is that paying it isn't good. There's this idea now coming in that protectionware is coming. You've paid the ransom once, they're going to come back to you again. They know you pay up. Paying isn't good. Also, some of the new variants of these don't encrypt your files. They simply delete your data. They tell you they've encrypted it, and there is no way of recovering it. Even if you pay the ransom, you're not going to get your stuff back. We've really been working with Microsoft and with other Microsoft partners looking at the operational challenges around O365. So we've really looked in 3 main areas in here. So first of all, with regard to the spam protection on security, in O365 there's really a focus on spam prevention. There's no real protection against phishing, 0-day protection against malware, and nothing specifically attacking ransomware. There's a big issue with false positives with O365. If you do get an email that's picked up by the spam filter, it can be quite hard to get it back. You have to go through Microsoft Support, and it can be quite a laborious process. And the advanced protection that they do offer is relatively expensive on a per-user basis. From their compliance and e-discovery tools, they do have retention and legal hold tools in there, but they're not particularly advanced. It is still possible for users to delete mail even when it's under retention, and there's very limited access to those archives from a mobile device. Backup and recovery, you do have some limited protection against deletion of folders and inboxes, but it is difficult to recover, and there are limited times when you can make those recoveries, and there's no file protection really at all for OneDrive for Business. It's possible for deletions or encryptions of files by ransomware to propagate through those because it is all synchronized up. So to deal with this, we've released this Barracuda Essentials O365. This is a bundle of other products that we have generally all put together for easy ordering. It can be used with any O365 plan. It's built on our proven SaaS solutions. It's on a low-cost per-user licensing, so it's very simple to order. It's a single SKU, so you can order the whole lot in one go, and it makes it very, very easy to renew. Fully managed from our cloud platform, and as part of that you get a license for our PST Enterprise tool for 90 days, which is fantastic for migrating and collecting all of those old PST files from around your network and migrating them up into the archiver. I'm going to focus on the products individually now. So first we've got the email security service. This is our industry-leading spam and virus defense for email. It's a pass-through service, exists in the Barracuda cloud. This gives you really good protection against data loss and reputational damage for your outbound mail as well. Very advanced and granular policy management. You can really get in and tweak this, make some very good settings in there to make sure you're going to get as much of the good mail as absolutely possible and almost none of the spam mail. It has real-time threat protection in there, so we do monitor the trends in spam and the trends in malware as it's moving around, and we will make adjustments using Barracuda Essentials to make sure that you're going to get the best possible protection. We offer the advanced threat protection as a sandboxing tool that's there to spot the zero-day malware and particularly the ransomware type attacks and prevent those coming through to you. Very advanced setup now. And brand new, we have our email continuity service. So if you have an on-site device or O365 is unavailable for up to 96 hours, you can use the email security service as a webmail portal to send and receive your email, maintaining your business continuity even if your actual mail systems are unavailable. Just by way of a quick case study, we deployed this with a large car dealership group. They had a lot of remote locations, so for them it really was a good idea to move to a cloud solution. They were going into O365. They had a big problem with the email security in that they couldn't set granular enough policies to make sure that they were getting the right mail coming through, and they were having issues with the false positives. So they wanted this nice easy SaaS solution. We deployed the email security service for them. It took around a day to get the deployment fully done and configured for them, and they were able to get back on track with their migration. So it really had almost no impact on their migration at all. Cloud archiving service. This is a 100% cloud-based archiving service for your email. This is hosted in our secure Barracuda cloud. This allows you to have complete e-discovery on all emails that are sent in and out of your business, so you could put legal holds on those, search and export those mails as needed. We can do full importation of historical data, pulling all that information out so you get all the old mail in there as well. Role-based administration, meaning that users are allowed to access only the mails they're permitted to. If they're just a standard user, they can see any mail that they would have been able to send or receive, and if they're auditing or administration, they're able to get in and view whatever they need to. The mobile apps are fantastic. These let you get into access and recover emails. No more searching through slow searches to find your emails from old things. You can very quickly do complex searches and pull those emails up. And that works absolutely fine within a hybrid deployment. So even if you've still got stuff on site, it will still function okay with those. We deployed this to an eyeglasses, an optometrist retailer. Again, very distributed location, lots of users moving to O365. Their issue here was legal compliance. They, being in the medical business, they have to retain their emails for certain situations. So in this case, they simply couldn't do that with O365. It was able to delete stuff, and they needed a cloud solution. They hadn't got to have anything on premises. The cloud archiving service let them generate those audit logs so they could see exactly what was going on in the service. And once they got up and running, it just runs in the background, and you don't have to worry about mucking around with it. Cloud-to-cloud backup is there. Again, 100% cloud-based. This allows you to back up all the data in your Exchange Online and your OneDrive for Business. You can configure everything to prevent any accidental deletions, and you've got full control over the backup and retention policies for that. You can automatically do a manual backup, and the restorations can either go back to where they came from, or you can restore those to any location you want. So you just pull data out of that system for restoration elsewhere. And it gives you that all-in-one protection of data hosted locally and on-site, because it is a fully featured backup service. So we really looked at those O365 challenges and addressed them with these three products. From the spam prevention one, we're able to block the email threats, spam, viruses, malware, phishing, ransomware. We have a built-in encryption of data loss prevention tools, allowing you to have an encryption email, a fully encrypted email if you need to send that as well. And you've got very granular control over all the configuration within the system, so you can make sure those mails are being delivered to the right people. From the compliance perspective, the cloud archiving service will capture a secured copy of every email that you send in and out of your business. We minimize the risk by storing that outside your production environment, giving you another box to tick on your DR plan. There's extensive search facilities within there, and so you can do full legal holds on those, and that can be put out as through delegated administration to the admins down to your administrators. Backup and recovery, fully automated backup for Exchange Online and OneDrive for Business. All your email, including all the attachments, is included in there, and the complete folder structure in Exchange. So all of those folders we love to scroll our emails away into, we fully back that up, and you can restore that whenever you need to. And that restoration can either go back to the original source, or we can download that to somewhere else so you can transfer it around. We'll just take you over to a quick demo now. This is the Barracuda demo portal. You can access this from demo.barracuda.com, and this is publicly available, so I recommend you come and have a little look at this once you've finished the demo here, so you can have a play around yourself. This is the configuration for the email security service. I'm going to take you very briefly through what we've got in here. There's a much more in-depth demo. Please feel free to contact grey matter or Barracuda if you want to arrange a demo for that. Dashboard just shows you the current overview of the system, letting you see what's going on, your subscriptions, what's currently traveling in and out of the system. The message log retains every message going in and out of the system, unlike the stuff you get actually directly with O365. This is a complete record of everything, and you can come into here and you can release those mails if you need to. You can report them to us as spam, so if something does manage to sneak through, we can report that. We score the emails, and you can set that scoring level for your business to make sure that you're getting the right kind of mails through. Domain management, multiple domain systems, so you don't have to have a single account for your domain, so you can add all the domains in here, and we can do a full synchronization with your Active Directory, giving you single sign-on and the ability to have a prevention of email coming through for directory harvesting attacks that go to people who are not in your domains. I'm going to quickly look through the inbound settings. In here you've got full configuration over the system. You've got Barracuda's reputational block list, and we can block something like 80% of the spam purely on the basis of the reputation of the sender. You've got your cloud scan storings here and the optional per user quarantine if you want people to get notifications of emails that come within that kind of dodgy range there, and you can tweak that around to get that to work best for your business. You can deploy custom reputational block lists if you need to. Rate control, this is used to cut down the amount of email coming through. This will mean that if you are subject to an email based denial of service attacks, we will take those emails, hold them for you, and deliver them down at the rate that O365 can handle without getting you into trouble. You can choose to block or allow based on IP. You can choose to block or allow based on recipient and also by sender. We support the majority of the sender authentication systems, SPF, DKIM, PTRs. Within content policies, in here you can set blocking or allowing of certain emails and file attachments and forcing scanning within those. This is in addition to virus scanning, and we will scan within these attachments as well. Yeah, you're going to treat pass protected archives, and we can also choose to block based on regular expressions within the entire structure and text-based attachments. Anti-phishing, really good, not only to protect against direct phishing attacks that are out to get personal information for that in reconnaissance phase, but also because a lot of phishing emails are linking to malware as well. We'll actually, using the link protection, we will rewrite all unusual links to point back to Barracuda, so there's no way that the guys hosting the malware to redirect that to a malicious server after initially pointing it somewhere safe. And that link protection and typo squatting, and that gives you really good protection against kind of email-borne links. ATD is our sandboxing tool. This is really the focus for the ransomware prevention. Once we're blocking, if we're not blocking them by virus scan. Problem with malware, zero-day stuff is very hard to detect, as is ransomware. Zero-day malware, we're not necessarily going to have the fingerprints for those because they're brand new. If they're a new variant, no fingerprints for those either. Heuristics, not necessarily going to pick it up if it's a new exploit that's never been covered before. Ransomware, very hard to detect by traditional AV methods. It isn't really doing anything that unusual. It's just encrypting and decrypting files. So looking at the actual structure of the file, you can't always tell it's going to do something nasty. What we do with the ATD is we get an attachment in. If we don't recognize it, we then move that up into our cloud service, into a specific portion of that where we actually run a bunch of tests against that, including executing that in a virtual environment to see how it's going to behave. If that behaves in a benign manner, we whitelist that attachment and then it's delivered through to you. If we find that it's down behaving in a malicious manner, we would then blacklist that, block that from ever coming through to anybody else, and that would then propagate over the whole Barracuda network. Meaning we can pick up very, very quickly if there's something malicious coming through, we'll be able to stop that very quickly. You can choose to deliver first then scan, or scan first then deliver. Scan first then deliver gives you a delay of around 10 minutes on an attachment while we go through and process that for you. That really is the best possible protection you can get against ransomware and the zero-day threats. Outbound settings, these are mostly reputational based. You can choose exactly which servers are allowed to send, and there's full configuration instructions for how to do this with O365. You can append a tagline to the bottom of the email so you can say that it was scanned. DLP, this allows you to force the encryption on to certain connections. Content policies, this allows you to do outbound filtering for your mail coming out, mostly for DLP purposes and control. So you can say, I don't want to have anyone sending credit card details out over the email. Definitely a good thing to do. Barracuda encryption service, you want to send a confidential mail. Rather than sending over the open internet, that mail redirects to the Barracuda cloud. We hold that email in Barracuda cloud and send a notification to the recipient. They can then come back to the Barracuda cloud and read that email. They then create credentials for that once they can get in and out and view those notes if they need to. All included as well. Abuse monitor looks to make sure you're not sending anything out that might contain malware or being sent too fast. And you've got full control over the notifications in there. Users can come in and actually, once they've got their credentials either synchronized to the LDAP or created separately, they can log into the system and view their mails and release the quarantine mails they need to. I'm just going to move over now to the archiver. This is, as I say, fully cloud-based. There's no need to have anything on premises to manage this. And this is going to be able to take a full independent copy of all of your emails. So you can not only say what emails you have sent, but you can say that emails weren't sent during a period of time as well. And you can prove that with audit logs. Similar kind of look to the dashboard. You can see when mails are being backed up within here. You can add your mail sources, SMTP journaling, exchange integration, and you can do full PST imports as well to move up those bulk emails that are coming in. You've got an option here to do a PowerShell setup for O365, very simple to set up and do. With Exchange integration, you can fill all the details in there. All the instructions to how to fully configure this are in the Barracuda campus. Once you've got that initial emails flowing into the system, you then use the search system to start to actually make use of that stored email. So then here you can come in and create a specific search. So you can say any emails that contain scandal, trouble, or authority. We're going to keep those as a saved search known as scandalous emails. We can then make use of those. We can search those and output those if we need to. But more importantly, we can set retention policies based on those emails, based on those searches. With the retention policies, we can set that. There's a standard one, global retention policy, and any emails not covered by a saved search set up within here would then be picked up. That's anything from the CEO, we're going to retain forever. Anything about Enron, we're going to cut back that down to only 12,000 days. Litigation holds are controlled by the audit teams. They're not able to set up deletes within those. That would only be for stuff that was on hold. You can do automatic message deletion if you want to outside of those retention periods, but that is optional. Users are added through LDAP synchronization as well, and you've got full control over those different accounts, being able to set them to different levels of access as you need to. We also have a wide variety of clients available for actually accessing the data. So within here you can download and view various different add-ons and attachments, and it also links through to iOS and Android apps for easy browsing when you're on the road. Going to quickly jump over to the backup system. And within here, we're actually having a look at the cloud-to-cloud O365 backup. This is tied into OneDrive, Exchange Online, and just very recently we've started doing a full backup for SharePoint Online as well, allowing you to do a granular restoration of SharePoint files as well. Once you've gone in and set up those, you can then set up your backup sources, configure those, set up exactly which ones you want to do and when they want to back up. Backup schedules fully configurable, so you can have different setups for different people when you want those backed up for different groups. Retention policies will be very familiar if you use any other kind of backup product. Within here, you can choose exactly when you want to be retained, and you can create templates to make that easy to define, so you can apply it to lots of people, and you can apply that to whichever data sources that you want. The restoration browser, very easy to use. You simply browse down through the files that you want to restore. You can multi-select files within there, so we can quickly go into Exchange Online. And go down into a mailbox, and we can choose to just restore single folders or down to the files, and we can restore that mailbox back into the whole, download the whole lot, or we can deal with those on a granular basis as well. Full reporting system built into there, so you've got when's backup's done, when the restore's done, and an audit log within that as well. So you've got a lot of control over that system. The Essentials packages come as a series of different sizes. The basic one, email security, just has the email security service. The next level bundle up includes the advanced threat detection, which is that sandboxing tool, is what you really need to be blocking that nasty ransomware and malware. The advanced email security and compliance also includes the cloud archiving, and the complete protection and compliance includes the cloud archiving and the cloud-to-cloud backup. Obviously, I recommend you go for this one. Best possible protection against malware. You're blocking it on the way in. You're archiving for full records of your emails for maintaining your legal systems. You've got access to that email continuity service and the ATD to block the malware and allow you to maintain continuity if you have lost access to your email system. And you've got your cloud-to-cloud backup as well. So if there is a final problem and you do have some files that have maybe been encrypted or something stuck into another one of the routes, somebody's brought a pen drive in from home with a bit of nasty malware on it, you can still restore all of those files back. Nice little tool we've brought out recently is the threat scanner. This allows us to scan an existing O365 mailbox with the administrator's permission and spot the threats that we would have stopped you from receiving. It's free to use, so scan.barracuda.com/signup, and you can go down there. I recommend you run a scan. Let us see what kind of things that we'd have stopped you from getting. These are the nasty threats. We'll even show you who first received them, where they passed them on to, and maybe how that bit of malware got to your CEO's email account. So well worth having a little play around with on that. We do other solutions as well. We're not just offering software as a service. On premises, these will all work with O365 as well, spam firewall, next-gen firewall, both offering that ATD protection, archiving, PSD management, and backup as well. We run a lot of our products in Azure and public cloud, so you can run our spam firewalls and things in there, route your mail through Azure, AWS, or vCloud Air. And you can individually purchase the products as well, that are the spam firewall, archiving, backup, and PSD management. Next steps, back over to Grey Matter. So contact us, contact Grey Matter, contact Barracuda, speak to us. Got some contact numbers there. Request a demo. We offer a free 30-day evaluation of any Barracuda product. If that's the cloud, you can simply sign up for that through barracuda.com. If it's the on-premise devices, we'll actually ship you a on-premise bit of hardware, the virtuals you can download straight away. So, did we have any questions we wanted to cover? I've got a couple come through. Let me just
I'll just take a quick look. If I may, I've got a couple of questions myself.
Sure.
So, first question from me there, Ben, is with the backup and the archiving, I guess one question we can ask is, where's the data kept? I know there's a few questions around, sovereignty at the moment.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are Barracuda's data centers?
We have data centers in the UK for the backup system, and just coming online this week, we've got the data center for email security service all coming online in the UK. So you will be able to have new setups in the UK from now on for email security and for the backup and archiving.
Brilliant.
Currently,
okay.
Barracuda Essentials is based out of the US. Just the one here about licensing is quite a common one that we get. So the way this is licensed is for active email users. What the person here is querying about is what about lots of mailboxes? How do we handle it? They've got lots of mailboxes. That's fine. We're only interested in active email users. If you've got 200 people working for your company, all making use of email, they've each got 3 email addresses. You need to license 200 people. We don't mind that you've got multiple aliases, multiple mailboxes. It's absolutely fine.
Brilliant. Okay, well, that sounds good. And another question from me, if I may. Just give everyone a little bit extra time to think about their questions. But in regards to, it's a question I get asked quite a lot, and I know, you've got, in terms of backup, you've got recovery point objective and you've got recovery time objective. So I think in regards to recovery point objective, that's pretty self-explanatory. But in regards to backing up, things like mailboxes, SharePoint sites, things like that, I don't suppose there's anything you could elaborate on in regards to, how long it would actually take to back up, either a folder or a full mailbox. Can you share that with us?
It's a bit of a how long is a piece of string thing, really, Chris, because it depends on how much data you've got. Now, we're doing a direct backup from our data center to Microsoft data center, so it's going to be Microsoft to us, rather. It's going to be considerably faster than doing a backup from most people's on-site locations because we've obviously got massive internet connections between those two. If you've got massive mailboxes, it'll take a little while to back up. But once the initial backup's done, we're only going to just take the changes that are made. So once that initial backup's in place, it's very, very quick to make sure that's done. And the archiving's done continuously. So we will, as soon as you've enabled the archiving, we'll start picking up the new mail and then we'll slowly move the older mail across. And then you'll just get a notification when it's fully completed.
Brilliant. No, thanks for that. I don't seem to see any other questions at all. Ben, can you see any questions your side?
No, the only other thing we very commonly get asked is about training. I definitely recommend checking out campus.barracuda.com. On there you've got our full training site and the full documentation for all of our systems. And particularly for the Essentials packages, there's some detailed installation guides for O365. So you can just log in there, and you haven't even got to log in, you can just go and view the campus site, and you can go and check out all the config guides. And so for the 30-day trials, for the most part, you set them up yourself. You can obviously come to Barracuda Support. We've got support based out of the UK. Contact us either by phone or by email, and they're very happy to help with anything with regards to setting their systems up.
Brilliant. No, thanks for that, Ben. That was really useful. So I think we will just wrap it up there. Obviously, any other last-minute questions we'll try to answer. I really hope everyone's found that really useful. So I just want to say thank you for watching. Ben, that was really helpful as well, so thank you on that one. Obviously, we're trying to cram as much as we can in the space of 30 minutes, so if there's anything that we possibly missed off or any other questions at all, feel free to get in touch. My own email address is chrisw@greymatter.com, or alternatively send an email across to cloud@greymatter.com. Our phone number's there as well. So if we would like to set up a one-to-one session or a demo or anything extra that you will need around this, then please don't hesitate to get in touch. We'll be more than happy to help on that. So once again, thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and hopefully speak to you all very soon.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Cheers, thank you.